All right.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna get into it. Thank you guys for coming out. I know we've been on a bit of a hiatus
Mm-hmm.
in this preseason. Right now we're finishing up the carton cutoffs. We have our finals coming up this Saturday and Sunday, or is it just one day? We have 2 days, right?
Uh, yeah, 2 days. If you look at the schedule, league announcements, we have the PL2 versus DMG, SSX versus SFD2, DXG versus DA, and NL versus KRS. The winners of those games will be guaranteed a spot in Division B, but the thing is, it's still winning for honor at this point. Once those four teams qualify, it's whoever takes home the current cutoffs.
Correct. And the top three teams from the carton cutoffs move up.
Exactly. Well, actually,
um,
it's top four because if not sure if many people heard this, but
Rebel, yeah,
Buzz and
Buzz and Rebel are
RBL have
combining.
merged.
Yep.
So now we have 4 spots open
Which
up for
helps us out a
grabs.
lot more. Now we don't have to do, like a first place finals and a third place finals, and then that fourth place team is the only team that doesn't make it. It just makes it easier, so they're playing for glory. Now, can you tell us who those teams are that are still there? Ooh, we have 26 people. Thank you guys for coming out.
The teams that are going in on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think I just said that, but we have PL2, which is the second division of PLG.
Hmm.
We have DMG, a highly controversial clan.
Demigod.
Uh, yeah. Then we have sorry, not DMG. GMG is fine. Demigod's fine. Another clan from God. SSX and SFD2, another second division clan. DXG is the controversial clan.
Yeah.
That's the
DXG
one that's
is the team
controversial.
that took almost all of the best players from all the teams except for God. God stayed true to themselves. They were the season winners. They wanted to keep their squad together, so they did. But DXG, they sucked all the good players, or all the basically the top tier players from different
Hmm.
teams, and
The
they made a
well-known
roster out
among
of
the
it.
community. Yeah, the well-known among the community have been sucked into DXG. Not all. Some like Clapper and Killjoy have stayed to God, like you said, but a lot have switched to DXG.
And then
We have them going against DA. Then we have NL and versus KRS, and the rest is going to be Sunday, depending on who wins those games.
one thing I want to touch on is even though they've created a God Squad, as I've watched the League of Legends LCS, they created a God Squad called Immortals. They had a perfect season, lost the last game, didn't win the championship. So,
Yeah,
Titans fall. Anything goes in season 3, I guess. Plus, they won't even be in Division A until season 4 if they do make it. So, when is
yeah.
season 2? We just ended season 2. We're moving on to season 3 in about 2
Next
weeks.
week.
Yeah,
No, next week.
next week.
It's gonna be next week. Yeah, Richmond's already started up the schedules. He's been busy at work.
Our boy Richmond,
And yeah,
bless
I
up.
guess we can start answering some of the questions you guys have sent us over the course of the few weeks that have passed.
And
This one
if
coming
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, this one coming in saying, "What is the current meta for Shell League scrims?"
Do you
Um,
mind if I
go
go
ahead.
in
Go
depth
ahead.
on this
Sure.
one?
Go ahead.
Okay. So right now we've been seeing one ARPed, two sniper strategy with another gun mixed in, possibly another sniper. That's been kind of the majority. We've seen a couple of other variants playing AKs and shotguns to try to cut off the ARPed. Just that ARPed, it's the core of that group. This update is going to change it so much, but as of now, that's what the current meta is. It's that ARPed and the snipers. Being able to get that big amount of AoE damage through that ARPed and just having the snipers to finish him off. It's just works amazing.
Yeah, one thing I want to add on to that is we're seeing the RPEG. It popped up a lot during season 2, after the changes to the RPEG, and obviously unbanning it since season 1. Um, but another thing as we move into season 2 or season 3, things are going to change drastically with the update
Yeah,
dropping soon. I'm sure many of you have played on the what's it called, the developer server.
the dev server,
Yeah, the dev
yes.
server. Um, they're adding the bolt action, which we'll talk about later, and they're adding, what is it, the P90 or something like that?
Yeah, the P90 and the crack shot,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Bolt
this
action and
we don't know if this
P90.
could change anything up, but they are nerfing the sniper. We'll touch on that later. Um, good question. Or next question.
Mhm.
Anyway, so yeah, they're
Uh-oh.
adding new things, changing some of the old things, and that could very well change the way season 3 looks. We might not see RPEG all that much.
Yeah.
And we might see other guns used a lot more, or we'll see other things added in with the RPEG to maybe change up the dynamic. Um, but I think the beginning part of season 3 will be people kind of feeling out that meta, seeing which works, which doesn't work, and that transitioning through the back half of the season into like the more challenging part where they get into the finals area, and like we'll see what kind of solidifies, I guess, in a way, what sticks, which metas work and which don't, and we'll probably see it from the top tier teams. What they do will probably trickle down to the mid tier teams and then to Division B. So,
Yes. Something that interested me in from season 1 to season 2 was the use of grenades. If you guys paid attention to season 1, the second that 3, 2, 1 go went off, there was nades flying across the map, just left, right, and center. No real like goal with those nades, just to get them out there. But with this P90, or not, sorry, with the RPEG in play, a lot more teams have been not throwing their grenades right away. They've been saving them and using their RPEG players as supports. And like Chris said, the using the crack shot and the new P90s that are coming out, we'll definitely have to see how those metas affect the game.
the sniper will
I'm
get
not
25
sure
bullets and
about the
faster
how well the
shots.
P90 will do, but the track shot will be used for sure. It has that high damage potential. It pairs very well with plenty of other guns. In my opinion, the P90 is a little bit underwhelming. It has a slower time to kill at every range
Oh yeah.
compared to the 8A, which
Yeah,
gets a very big accuracy buff and fire rate buff.
especially in these pro competitive scenes where everyone's got like incredible aim. The P90 might not be the first go-to option, but well, we'll have to
Yeah.
see. Maybe my words don't stand a chance against what these players will do with these weapons out there.
One thing I want to say, Nav
Another
one
thing
one
that the
one two
P9
three.
oh, go for it.
He says the sniper will get 25 bullets and faster shots but less damage. The thing with the sniper is, like when I was playing the sniper, I relied on land shot 1, land shot 2. If you need shot 3, I don't need land shot 1, land shot 2, land 3, land 4, maybe 5 with the damage reduction. Like the sniper's supposed to be, all right, you shoot once, you shoot twice. You're not supposed to be shooting over a long period of time. You're supposed to be hit your shots, kill your target, that's it, done. You're not like I don't I don't know, I don't want to say it basically killed the sniper, but I say we're going to see a lot less play with that sniper in season 3 with the
Mhm.
way they
We'll have
changed
to
it.
see. We'll have to see if our words are going to stand up to what we've been saying and what we've been claiming here. But this next question, that was a question to Richmond, who unfortunately isn't here today. So we're gonna have to skip it. It was about how his piano lessons are going, and I'm sure he's doing fine because he wasn't able to make this podcast because he's doing piano right now. But we'll skip to the next question. Is it allowed to spar with other clans or do rival tourneys? The question to that one is a lot of clans outside of the league do scrimmages. They aren't really official tournaments run by the league. We want our players to improve. This is a competitive environment, and one way of improving is through these scrimmages with other clans. So we openly invite these things where clans set up times to scrimmage one another so that they can improve their players and get a feel for the game and the dynamics that are changing, especially with this update that we're talking about. So, of course, rivalries happened last season. No, season 1 we had Buzz and TXC rivalry. Season 2, I think it was God and TXC.
Yeah.
So yeah,
God and SFD as well, the two newer clans.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
rivalries always happen, no matter what.
and I think with
Awesome
the
part about a
sparring
competitive game.
clans or like scrimmages, I guess we have a place set up for all the team leaders, team leader lounge, as it's come to be known. So if you guys want to do scrimmages or anything like that, have your leaders come through that lounge. They could talk to other teams, Division A teams, Division B teams. They can mix and mingle, and you could just test your might, have fun, practice, and just get some work in while you're just on. So that's one thing. Woo, Killjoy, thank you for the 200 biddies, and thank you Xlayer for the 11 biddies.
Hmm.
All right, next question.
Next question. Do B teams for clans like TXC, which I'm assuming they're talking about like TX2, and SFD's B teams SFD2, do these clans get to compete as well? Well, as we've seen in the carton cutoffs, we have SFD2 competing. TX2 was already brought into the league season 2. So yes, we are open to these second division teams because we want more people to be able to compete in this environment while also remaining a professional and competitive environment.
And then another thing I want to add on to that is, um, I don't know if we're going to do this, but we might have to. Given that TX2 placed in the top 3 in Division B and TXC is staying in Division A, we're going to have TXC and TX2 both in Division A. One thing that was mentioned to me by Checkmate was that they're going to start separating. They're going to start moving on to their own things. Um, so maybe we'll see a rebrand of TX2, changing their name into something else. Who knows? Or they might just keep TX2. Who knows? Thank you, it's Matt with 15 biddies. But yeah, I think the thing with the names, like having such similar names, like SFD2 is if SFD2 gets to Division A along with SFD, I think we're definitely gonna have to do something with a rebrand of the names.
Yeah, definitely having one of the lower division teams, or comparatively low towards their higher division branch, being in the same division might not seem fitting.
All right.
So yeah,
D4 Caliber asked, how many questions have you answered? Roughly four.
let's see.
Four
Yeah, I'd
around there.
say yeah 4. That's
Four.
4 questions exact.
All right. Next one. What does the PR team actually do? If you don't know, PR stands for Public Relations, and good thing we have Bunny Rich in here. You could talk on the PR team.
Yep.
Yeah, Bunny Rich being the head PR, he can let y'all know what the PR team does.
Well, the PR team, as explained earlier, stands for public relations, and that kind of just involves dealing with the general public, creating forums, asking for opinions on the lead, suggestions, just answering those kinds of questions. That falls under my jurisdiction for the most part.
Um,
Just
one.
finding out that information, reporting back to the owner and co-owner of our lead, Upa and Chris here, and just figuring out ways to proceed and advance farther in. The PR team we have is just planning for the future. We want to prepare for what'll happen next. What are the next 3 steps? Like in chess, you always want to be ready.
Yeah. So basically, what they do is like all their work is like behind the scenes. And when they do start asking for opinions and stuff, obviously that goes on the announcements. And we'd obviously love you guys to fill out the forums and everything, so then we can see what the public feels about how we're doing, how the league's being run, and how the games are going, how everything is gelling together nicely. Or
Mm.
if it's not, we want to know all the good and bad opinions you have about the league.
And
Quick question.
they
Yeah,
also
yeah, go
do
ahead.
take stands. Sorry, they also do take stands for the league, especially announcements. The public relations team, they really help us write our official stuff when we want to post things. Not the announcements. The announcements kind of come from us, but whenever we want to say like a formal letter towards our community, the public relations team really does step up there and help us write these letters. And also, they
Um,
keep data for us, as
oh
far
yeah,
as like Bunny
stats.
said, community data as well as in-game data.
The stats were
Uh,
kept from a PR team member, which helped us immensely in picking the MVP. So PR also helps in terms of how we view the players and what you guys get to see, instead of having each of you going through trying to find your own stats. We have someone, our stat keeper, who just gets all that stuff down, puts it on a spreadsheet, and we get to show you guys. One thing I want to answer real quick, Blast Tonight asks, what do you think would be the next gun to come out? We already have, is it 2 guns or 3 guns?
it's 2 guns coming
Two
out.
guns. We have 2 guns coming out. It's the bolt action, which is a one-shot sniper, and the P90, which is an egg K in a sense, with more bullets. More bullets, right?
Yes, the P90 has a 50 clip.
It shoots, or it does
P90
less
is an
damage.
American bullpup rifle.
Yeah. Thank you,
All right.
Killjoy, for more biddies, dude. You're looking for Yusha Thomas, not
So
gonna find him here.
I kind of want to go off the script for a second, but one of the questions asked in the chat is how is pre-league gonna work? And I think that's a great question we could answer. So the pre-league is basically a smaller, more minor scaled down version of the Shell League. It's going to be where we test out ideas before implementing it into the server that's really massive as of right now. So we don't want to overwhelm the server with many multiple ideas, but we can use a small clean base where we can test those ideas. And if we like those ideas, we can bring them into the official league that we have going here. And pre-leagues also for smaller teams that might not get a chance to compete against one another to have a chance to compete with other teams also going through the same issue.
It's like biology. We're keeping a controlled group and we're testing with it. We're seeing what works, what doesn't work, and we're seeing if we could take that small group and we could turn that into a large scale. And then we like if we find something that works and that could be perfect for the league, we might implement that into the league. And like Upa said, it's for the smaller teams trying them out. They can see if they're good enough to make it, or they could like play against other teams. And then
Mhm.
eventually, hopefully for them, lead them into Division A or Division B.
Exactly. It's also to help us see the talent in each team and bring them to where they should be as far as talent wise goes. All
All
right.
right.
Has there been any maps that have been considered for Shell League games? If so, what maps?
This is one
Not
thing
many
I want
people.
to talk about real quick.
Oh, sure. You can go ahead. Go
Um,
ahead.
Before the update was even like announced or anything like that, um, there was a problem brought to me by many of the famous shotgunners, Ford Diesel, Slimy, and even Dirty Mike. These guys were like, Chris, our weapon is basically completely irrelevant. As we've seen many a times, the shotgun goes unused, and that was mainly in part due to the AK meta coming into effect. Because if there's a shotgun on low ground versus like an egg or an RPEG, you're not going anywhere with that. The RPEG's going to destroy the shotgun no matter what. You can't get to that close range, that sweet spot where you want to be with the shotgun. It's not going to happen. But as we move into Season 3 with the new update, things might change. So I don't know if a map change would be in the works anymore. But we definitely did look into some new maps. If you recall in Season 1, or was it preseason, we changed maps every so often where we'd go to dirt,
Yeah.
or we'd go to we go to castle, or we go to Shellville. But
Exactly.
what we're looking for in a map is more of like a linear kind of map, or not linear but
A symmetric,
a symmetric map.
a
Yeah.
reflexive map. Yeah.
So when there's one half and the other half, lane down the middle, there could be lanes on the sides, whatever. But just a map that's the same on both sides if you split it down the middle. So then it's not an unfair advantage for one team or an unfair advantage for the other team. A map like Tower, you can't use Tower in a game like this. One team starts on the top, one team starts on the bottom. That's an automatic advantage for long range weapons. In a map like Shellville, there's way too much stuff in the way. You can't see anything as a spectator unless it was like a spectator mode, obviously. But we're working with what we got. So,
And also, Shellville is very sniper dominated with
oh
all the
yeah,
nooks and crannies and everywhere.
everywhere you can
Yeah.
hide. So the map we found that works the best out of everything is Castle. I don't know if I don't think looking into other maps as of right now would really change anything. I feel like it would more set us back. Um,
Mhm.
I'm getting a lot of people saying thoughts on the Egg League. I don't know what the Egg League is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, fan leagues pop up every now and then,
Yeah.
so
Um, Blue is second best map. Blue the one with like the crates and stuff and like that lower area, and then it has the one tower. Is that blue?
blue is the what's it called? It's the map with one tower exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
one way to describe it.
I would say blue would probably be the second best map to even consider, but
Hmm.
even then, like you start on two different sides. One team's closer to the tower, they get that high ground immediately. Thank you for Beazle for the 100 biddies. But like I said, yeah, we're looking for a map that's fair on both sides, so one team isn't ahead of the other. Thank you for the 200 biddies. Um, so that's where we're with maps in that sense.
Hmm.
Um, all right.
I want to take sorry before we move on from the question. I want to take people down a trip down memory lane here. Season zero. Not many people know this because we had let's see, 30, maybe 50 people in the Discord at that point.
That sounds
Season
about
zero.
right.
KOW versus USA. First ever game. and I think that's the only game. That's the first ever game that we've stuck to where it was all the games after that we switched every map, and it was the worst idea we've ever had. Switching every map took so much time. People had to leave in between, and some of the maps weren't even that great. And then season one, we used dirt, and that was another bad idea because dirt was so big for a 4v4 or a 3v3 that some players would just get lost, and not lost in the sense lost in the moment, like, wait, is he alive, is he alive, am I dead, should I stay out? And it was a mess. But like Chris said, castle was the best option. Some apps we have looked into were feedlot, but then again, the size of how big feedlot was, and also the no spectator mode and how hard it was to spectate is another reason we stuck to castle.
Um, yeah, the thing with Dirt, it would be a great map if it wasn't as large, or if we had teams that were larger. But the way it was, people couldn't even find the spawns when we were starting it off. People couldn't find the spawns, they didn't know where to go. And the thing was, you could be running circles and you couldn't find the other person. You guys could just keep going in circles, and it was just hard to find people with the small amount that we had. Plus the spectating on it wasn't the greatest. You get an overview, but then there'd be a wall blocking some views, or they'd go in the underpass and you couldn't see what was going on there. Um, the only thing with Castle is you can't see what
Yeah.
goes on in the underpasses, but you can get a general sense, and most of the action is done up top or in the middle. Um, so that's why we're sticking with Castle.
Yep.
Will you remove or plan to remove RPEG from Shell League matches? This
I
is
think
something.
we've talked about this in the first podcast. I
Yeah.
think we talked about it.
This is something that we
Uh,
did remove season one. We didn't have the RPEG because, as many of you know, the RPEG was kind of that weapon where everyone was like, "Oh, this guy's using the RPEG," and it was very hated on by the top people in the community. Like Exerpius, he did not like that at all. Um, but as it got its update and it changed like two or three times, I think, with the aiming and the way you could shoot it. um, Now where I think it's at, it's in a good spot. It's definitely affecting the meta, but not to the point where it's pushing every other thing out of the way. Metas change, metas are going to change, and with updates, as more new stuff comes in, obviously the meta's going to change even more. So that's why we're waiting for next week so we can see how everything plays out after the new update comes out. Um, so that's kind of where we're at with the RPEG. I'd say no, we're not going to remove it unless something crazy happens and it gets crazy buffed and it completely takes over play. But yeah, I don't think removing the RPEG is the smartest idea. Savage Sam 420 says, "Are we going to incorporate any other maps into Shell League matches?" No, we had a problem with switching maps in the first season. It was way too hard.
Season zero. It was
Yeah,
season
season
zero that we had
zero.
the problem.
We couldn't get people on the maps in an orderly fashion. It would take maybe like 30, 40 minutes for one game to happen. SFD Instant says, with the new patch rolling in, how do you feel about the meta and how it will change in effect? I think the meta is going to change pretty pretty greatly. We'll see.
I'm hoping that we don't see as many nades with the new crack shot. I'm hoping that people are really too scared because, as far as we've seen, we've just seen some reckless nade throwing, and I want to see more strategic play, and I think that's gonna happen with this new crack shot.
Yeah, so
Well,
I
with
think
reckless nade throwing, a lot of it is restricting movement, so you don't have people going to a certain side of a map. You have people
Yeah,
forced to go to a
but
certain direction, hurting them right into an arped shot.
yeah, but like I don't think I'd say around 40% of the time it's not strategic movement. Around like 30 to 40% of the time it's just throwing the nade for in hopes it's gonna
yeah,
hit something.
in that like lucky chance that you do
In
hit
that
something.
lucky chance, people are relying on like, oh, I think I saw him go that way. Let me just chuck it that way, hoping that's gonna attack or attach to something. It's
And
not in the
then
hopes of strategic
about
play.
the meta, I think this is just gonna be my predictions based on what I've seen while playing the new weapons. Um, I think we're gonna see a lot less of the sniper. We're gonna see a lot more of the RPEG, the Egg K, and potentially the bolt action if people start learning how to use it more.
Oh yeah.
If people like
Oh yeah.
as pros, these guys have better aim than most. So with one bullet in the chamber, I feel like they can do the job instantly. Like I feel like we're gonna see those three weapons pop up a whole lot more. Um, Arpeg got nerfed.
The pistol will also have some more usage than
Oh
normal with
yeah,
the accuracy and damage buff.
definitely the pistol. We'll see that a lot more. Like if someone runs out of their clip, they're not going to waste the time to reload. Switch to the pistol. You'll still get a decent amount of damage getting pumped out, and it's just like a second clip on the ready. Pistol is bad. God Killjoy says. Um,
All right, I think the next question kind of segues also about the meta. It's the next question is, what are your thoughts on the AK? I personally believe it needs a buff due to its inaccuracy. The cool thing is, it's actually getting a buff. If you look at the dev server and you look at the patch notes, they do mention an egg K buff. So if you're an egg K player, this might be good news. We'll have to see how this buff affects the metas in the Shell League matches themselves. I know it's going to affect the regular games, but Shell League matches might be a different story with all these incredible aimed, well aiming players.
Yeah, I definitely love to see the comeback of the Egg K. It was definitely one of my most um, hated weapons when I was playing. When I was using the sniper, I'd hate when there was an Egg K popping up right in front of me. But now with the sniper changes, and we're definitely going to see a lot of different new things being tried out. I'd definitely love to see the Egg K coming back and seeing people play it more. And it'll definitely change the way things are played. If the Egg K, as it's being buffed, people are definitely going to try and go in for more close range combat. So if the Egg K popularity rises, I feel like the RPEG to counter it would definitely rise more.
Hmm.
Because as we've seen with the Egg K and the shotgun, you have to get close range to start doing more of that like burst damage. So the way to combat that was to just pull out the RPEG and shoot the ground right in front of them. You're doing damage. If you don't kill them, pull out the pistol, finish them off. Um,
All right, so I want to do a quick little game here. Bunny, me, and you. So let's say we have a 3v3 going on. What's your ideal loadout? Like you have one person running this, one person running this, and one person running this. Let's start with Bunny.
hold on,
Is
one
this
second, one second, one
a
second, one second, one second. Yeah,
pre-patch
that's what I was gonna
or
say. Pre-patch or
post?
post-patch?
With a post patch. Post
Okay, all
patch.
right, Bunny, you go.
Okay, post-patch. So I put my bets on a track shot to watch every sightline possible and just align the shots waiting for people to peek out. Uh, a P90 or 8A depends on the player because people are preferring the P90. I prefer it myself because it reminds me of an Overwatch character called Zarya, which is very, very reliant on its tracking,
Hmm.
just like how the 8A is played. And then something like a shotgun or maybe even an arpeg, just something along those lines.
All right, Upa.
All right, I'm gonna rock. First of all, I play in League of Legends. I play I play support, and I love the way the RPEG is first of all going. So I'm definitely gonna have one of my players running an RPEG, because the way those RPEGs players work, it gets that range damage, and then you have another player come in and pick up the kill. So I'm running an RPEG player, but that player has to stick close with a P90 player. Those two go very well together, and then I'm gonna have a crack shot somewhere sitting in the back, doing that far range damage.
Okay, now my turn. I also play League of Legends. I'm an ADC main, so I have to agree with Upa. I love my support, and the way that the RPEG is going, it's more of a support type weapon. So I'd use the RPEG on one of my players. Then obviously I'd have a sniper or a crack shot, which is that's the bolt action, right? So I'd have
Hmm.
that. Um, and then I'd either run a second bolt action, a second crack shot, or I'd put in an egg K. I wouldn't use the shotgun, and I wouldn't use the P90. I would only use those three weapons, but definitely a crack shot and an RPEG. But then the third spot, you could pick the crack shot or the egg K, depending on if you want to stay that far range. But you also might want that close range in case the other team has, say, an egg K or a shotgun and they're coming in on you. You have to be able to fight your way out of that. And if you don't have that close range support, then you're not going to be able to fend off the attack, and you might just get picked up by that one player. So that's my thoughts on it.
All right. The next two
Sounds good.
questions are kind of go hand in hand here. It's will there be more spaces in season 4? And the question after, how do I sign up for the Shell League tournaments?
Um,
Um, when's first of all, we're a whiles away from season
oh
4.
yeah,
When we
we're
when
at
we do
least like 2, 3 months away from season 4, if
Yeah,
not
so when
more.
we do reach season 4, we'll definitely post you guys on more info there. How do I sign up for Shell League tournaments for season 3? What we had is we had the current cutoffs. Teams enrolled 29 teams, and then the 3 teams that were relegated from Division B. They're fighting it out, and the top 4 of those teams go to Division B, where they'll try to stay and fight to remain in Division B.
One thing I want to add is, um, this season it's 4 teams, but next season when we have the carton cutoffs again, we might not see another team merge,
Yeah.
so it could be 3 teams. It will definitely vary between 3 and 4, or
Depending on how
more,
this season goes,
yeah,
yeah.
depending on how the seasons go and how the seasons play out. And then the other question was, yeah, will there be more spaces in season 4? Um, I just want to explain the tournament or the Shell League layout. So Division A, you've got the winner, which is the top place team. Then the bottom 3 of Division A, they're dropped to Division B. The top 3 of Division B move up to Division A, and the bottom 3 of Division B, they go to the carton cutoffs with the other 29 teams, or maybe 28 or 20 or 30, depending on the way teams fare out at the end of the season. And then they fight it out. Those top teams move up to Division B. So I don't think we're going to make any more spaces, probably no more than 4 spaces at the end of each season for new teams to come in. Because the more you add, the greater it changes the dynamic, and the worse off it is. You don't want to be dropping half of your league like at the end of a season. You want to kind of keep some continuity, but you also want to keep or bring in some change to like kind of shake up the league in a sense.
Hmm.
Um, the next one, how do you believe the crack shot in P90 will affect the current Shell League metas? We've kind of gone over this, but I don't think the P90 will see much play. When I played it, I didn't see it. I don't even think it was better than the pre-patch Egg K. I think it was kind of more on the lesser side of that Egg K. Um,
Hmm.
so I don't think the P90 will affect the meta too much. I definitely 100% think that the crack
Crack
shot
shot.
will affect the
Yes.
meta. With the sniper
Oh, it
being
will for sure.
nerfed, the crack shot's definitely going to rise in popularity. And you'll definitely see Killjoy rocking that with his amazing aim. You'll see those players with the spot on aim using those weapons that require more aim. The crack shot, 1 bullet in the chamber, you only have 1 chance to hit your target before you can get hit. Um,
I wanna answer the next question,
Go ahead.
and maybe even the question after that because I was working on that. But it said, what would happen if a team went full RPG? And like I said before, I play support in League of Legends. Support player that plays support, they have a pretty good they have a pretty good loadout. They can get some damage done. They can help bring a player weak. But it's all about picking up the kill. Did you get that kill or did you not get that kill? And when it comes to the RPEG, you might be able to get a player extremely weak, but at the end of the day, will you win that fight? It depends. Most of the times you won't, especially if you're fighting against a shotgun or an egg K at really close combat. It's going to be hard. And if you rock an all 4 RPEG team, it might not work in your favors, especially with those underpasses. People can slip up from behind you and just get you when you're surprised. In fact, we've seen a team go all. It was a 3v3. All 3 of them went RPEG, and they got smoked right away. Their entire team was
Yeah.
just they just fell. They crumbled.
Um,
So I don't know. I think people give the RPEG a little more credit than it deserves.
One thing I want
It's
to
a
add to
good
that,
weapon, but
yeah,
yeah.
one thing I want to add to that is like a 3R peg team. Um, there's so many downsides to it. Splash damage to yourself. You you you're most likely going to miss your target unless they're standing right next to a wall and you hit that wall. Um, and the fact that you don't have a lot of ammo with the RPEG, you'll run out quick, and with 3 people using the RPEG going around collecting all the egg cartons, you're not gonna be able to fire off too many rounds unless you're absolutely hitting your targets with like single bullets. So I just think it's I feel like an all RPEG team would be unusable.
Yeah.
I'll add something on here. I'm gonna reference a little bit of Overwatch real quick. There's a character called Ana, which is a sniper that can heal your teammates, but does an insane amount of burst healing, and has a couple of other. It has a really good kit. Well, that character, it can win a team fight just single-handedly with an ultimate. The only problem is, something gets up close, Ana's dead. He can't do anything really, unless he did a lucky shot with a sleep dart. Kind of like the ARPEG, it can't handle up close super well. It's very good for setting up plays. The ARPEG sets up those plays for the players like Killjoy and Fish even to execute them just perfectly.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I just feel like it all RPEG would be usable. I would say no more than one. One is the perfect number for the RPEG.
Hmm.
Because then when you have a 3-on-3 and you're using two RPEGs, you don't have a lot of room for error. If your one other non-RPEG user gets picked off, well, you're a boat. You're up blank creek without a paddle. You really can't do anything. As
Yeah.
we've seen in previous games. So you want to get to this last question and end
Uh,
this off?
yeah, I got this question because I was working on the prize pool. It was asking about Shell League prizes. By the way, YouTube video for the season 3 announcement. This is the first time I'm going to be doing a YouTube video for a season announcement because this season we're going to have a lot of big things happening, especially with the way BWD and Shell League have been going strong, especially heading into season 3. Um, the prize pool is 5.5 million eggs in game. That's the in-game currency. Obviously, that won't be all. That's not all going to be over the course of one season. We're going to be using the 5.5 million eggs over the course of multiple seasons. And the way we're going to be splitting that up is going to be revealed soon. We're still working on the most effective and best way to split those eggs amongst first, second, and third place. But some other rewards we have is always the standard $25 Amazon gift card for the MVPs, the skull bandana. Now the thing about the skull bandana is we want the skull bandana for the players of the top of the top. We don't want to be giving that away to just everybody. The reason being we want this bandana to have value, and only the MVPs of the season get the skull bandana. This is to retain that value that the skull bandana has, especially with a lot of the Shell League schedules and YouTube thumbnails. The background has that bandana. It's almost become a part of the Shell League at this point.
And if you
And
guys
we
look right in the middle of the shellcast, you could see that skull bandana being shown off on that front egg.
exactly.
It's just it's the staple item of the game. Like you see that on all the
Hmm.
splash arts or everything that's there. Real quick, just because you guys came out, we haven't streamed in like 3 weeks, I think. I'm gonna drop a
Yeah.
1,000 egg code in the chat, just for you guys. So get ready to copy paste this code, and you can use it in game. Redeem 1,000 eggs. 3, 2, 1.
Whoever.
Whoever gets it, let us know. Whoever redeems
By the
it.
way, Chris, make sure you do not switch your stream, but make sure you say it's
Yeah, I did. I put it on stream. I said claim by stream.
claimed by stream. All right, cool.
Yeah. Tell me
All
who got
right.
that. It was used. Yeah, someone definitely got that.
No, so close.
Looks like
Got it.
somebody
Egg
must have got
Slayer
it. Oh,
got it.
looks like Egg Slayer got the code.
Attaboy, Egg Slayer.
Congratulations.
All right. Do we have one more question? Ooh, there's one last question.
One last question. What can it be? Division
Division
C
C
League.
League. I'm gonna explain this one.
Yeah, you got
Right
this. You got
now,
this.
the way we have our league set up, Division A, Division B, I think right now the perfect setup is the Division A mixing with the Division A, bottom three drop, the top three from Division B move up, the bottom three of Division B go down to Shelly or to the carton cutoffs. I think that's the perfect setup. I think adding another league would just get in the way of that hierarchy, and it would take 3 seasons up to 6 months for someone to 6 months or even more for a team to get from carton cutoffs all the way to Division A. It would just cause an unnecessary chain. We already have, I'd say, short enough seasons as is. Roughly
7 weeks.
7 weeks, yeah. With maybe like a 2 to 3 week off season in between. So you're talking 10 weeks to get into the league. If your team is that good and you have the talent and the skill to get into the league, you will get into the league. You just have to go through the carton cutoffs, Division B, Division A. I feel like that's like the perfect setup that we have right now. I think
Exactly.
just Division C would add too much, and it would basically just become Division B with less competition in a sense, because you're getting as you go down in the ranks, you're seeing less and less like of the higher skill. Obviously, there's definitely some really high skilled teams that aren't in the league right now, but they're making their way into the league. Um, Teams like PLG, I feel like PLG could do very well in Division A, but they were in Division B because they had to go through the process. So you have to work your way up into Division A, and adding a Division C is just adding another 8 teams, another step in that ladder that is kind of unnecessary in a sense. Um, anyway, I think that's it for us at the
Hmm.
ShellCast. A
It's been
nice
a great 45 minutes
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys for
talking about the
coming out.
future of the game and the future of the league.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We don't know if we can stream the playoffs, right? Or the final.
The
Maybe
finale.
Sundays. The Sunday games might be cool to stream.
Okay, I think I'll be home for Sunday. If you guys don't know, I'm going to my sister's graduation. She's graduating college. Good job for her. The second
Woohoo!
member in my entire family history to graduate college.
Hey.
Clap it up. I'll be the fifth if you don't know. Um, so that's where I'm going this Saturday, leading into Sunday. So that's where I'll be. If we can get the game streamed, it'd be lovely. We'll post it in the Discord, and you can find out where the game's going to be streamed at. But I think that's all for us today. Thank you,
All
Bunny
right.
Rich. Thank you, Upa, for coming out. Thank you, everyone else, for coming out and joining us. Thank you, Ford, Killjoy, and It's Best, and Xlayer for all the biddies you guys have sent in. Much love to everybody. But that is it for us today at the ShellCast.
Thanks,
And
everyone.
we'll see you guys
Yeah.
on the YouTube video coming up soon.
Peace.
See you.
See y'all.